Hey, guess what?
What? Hey, gals, guys, and otherwise, I'm Jonathan
fuck.
O'Roselion.
Hey, guys, and otherwise, I'm Jonathan O'Roselion. I fucked up my name.
I psyched you out.
I wanted to say Noah in my brain. I was like,
Pranked.
no, you're Noah. You're saying it second. Hey, guys, and otherwise, this is Jonathan O'Roselion.
And I'm Noah from Polyphonic.
Oh my god, you fucker.
What do I say?
Noah, a.k.a. Polyphonic.
Okay.
You're listening to Horns and Wings.
Okay.
Hey, guys, and otherwise, this is Jonathan O'Roselion.
And I'm Noah, also known as Polyphonic, and you're listening to Horns and Wings, the podcast where we regularly release episodes about Saga.
It's another Tuesday. That's the day of the week that we put these out.
Consistently.
I'm sure about that, and I'm not unsure.
Since we started.
Yep.
Since we started, consistently, you know, we're the hardest working podcasters in the biz. You know, like, sorry, Joe Rogan, step aside.
Glad that we already have Sorry Joe Rogan as the episode title before we get to this theme song. Hey, that was a theme song.
Man, honestly,
I forgot
it's
we
been way too long.
Did this?
Yeah, I forgot how much of a bop that song is.
Classic. Oh wait, no, Haley didn't make that one. Classic, royalty free, non-original music. Noah, we did it single-handedly.
We protested.
We protested.
And
we boycotted.
And as a result, the world is changing.
Okay, so just to break down for the people who missed it, and you literally can go see this. Well, I don't know how accurate. Did they still say what minute something was posted, like, in retrospect on Twitter?
I don't know.
Because if you go back to, what was this, like October something? Beginning of October?
Yeah, probably. Sounds right.
We posted a video saying that we're not going to take it anymore.
No, we ain't going to take it.
Thank you. More royalty-free music, so no problem there. We said that we were going to refuse to do any more episodes, and the reason we weren't doing more episodes was because they weren't doing more issues of the comic, and we put our foot down. We spoke directly to us two personally spoke directly to Brian K. Vaughan, publicly on the internet, kind of scattershot approach to it. Saying we need more issues of this comic, and we're not doing more episodes until then. And guess what, Noah?
He heard
within 1 minute.
Within 1 minute, yeah.
Within literally 1 minute of us posting that.
I think that just shows how closely he follows us. You know. This is basically, that announcement is him commenting first, you know? That's him spiritually commenting first.
Especially impressive considering that our message was 2 minutes long.
Yep. No, but that's usually what the first commenters usually comment without experiencing the whole thing.
Yeah, no, he saw us post. And we said, we're putting our foot down. He's like, they finally caught on to my act. I'm going to go get up on a stage at New York Comic Con. Quick, Fiona, you have 7 minutes to whip up some cover art.
And man, did she ever.
Oh boy, did she. So they finally announced, in direct response to us, they finally announced that Saga is coming back. We've been waiting the entirety of this podcast for this.
Yeah.
Right? It's been gone since before we started.
Yep.
And this is clearly, we're on issue 37, so it's been a whole 37 weeks since we started this podcast, this weekly podcast.
Yes.
So yeah, it's been a minute, and we brought it back through them bringing it back, through us asking them to bring it back. And it's coming back January 26th, 2022.
And we will certainly be caught up by then.
Certainly. I mean, well, so we do have a plan that will help us get slightly caught up, which is we are streamlining the hell out of this. We are going to save all of our normal filler episodes, all of our little conversation side things. We are saving those for when we are caught up, and we are just doing the meat and potatoes, just classic, pure, uncut.
Are we even having guests, or is it just you and me going at it raw until we catch up?
If guests can
keep
adhere to our schedule,
yep.
I think it'll be a much more, because usually with guests we're like, hey, pick an issue you want, let's do it in the next 3 or 4 weeks. I think it's gonna have to be like, when can you do it? Okay, this is what issue we will be on, so you're covering that issue, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, yeah. So, and a lot of the conversations we're planning to have are probably going to be mixed in with those episodes, those streamlined episodes. Will they be shorter episodes? Almost certainly not.
Without a doubt,
suck.
no.
Yeah, no, they will be a solid. They'll probably get longer.
They will be longer, and will they have a lot to say in their length? Certainly not.
Oh, God no. God no. It will become more frantic and desperate as time goes on. Which, that's how they made Casablanca. So yeah, no, and so we're gonna be skipping some stuff until we get caught up, and then once we're caught up, we'll only have an issue a month to do. So we will start putting in, probably, I'm gonna guess, like, do a filler episode between each issue or something.
Yeah. We'll
how did
we'll
this get made style?
Yeah, because there's a lot of big conversations, especially around some of the issues in general. This next run to get caught up, there's a lot of big, heavy conversations that we want to have.
Yeah.
So we want to kind of like give those like actual proper time and find the right people to talk to, rather than just kind of rushing through. So yeah, you're gonna get fun, lighthearted recaps of us discussing, because nothing bad happens up until we get caught up, right, John? Like, we've had some ups and downs, but it's all just good times from here on out.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Should we want to talk a little bit about the launch? Do we want to speculate at all on this new cover, or do we just want to dive in?
I do want to. Well, I think even the cover itself is a spoiler for people listening along that aren't necessarily are at the same place that we're at right now. So I kind of don't even want to talk about the cover.
All right.
I can say it's going to be 44 pages. So they're kind of mirroring the first issue again. I do think that we should, I think, like, probably the last thing we should do before we get to the current issue, or the next issue, the issue 55.
Yeah.
We should do a full episode of just predictions of what we think the story ends once we're caught up to the halfway point. Where it's going to go from there.
No, the other thing that's worth mentioning that is just around the corner, along with a new issue, probably more anticipated than the return of Saga, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
The 3rd annual Lauper Awards.
Yeah, baby.
It's award season!
And here's the thing. I think for the last one, we had, like, maybe 12 issues to cover or something. Yep. For this next one, I think we're gonna have, like, at least, like, 30 issues, 20 something issues. Like, it's gonna be a chunky one. It's gonna have a lot of meat on its bones.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited for it, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of special guests and amazing graphics and
live sound that works.
Plenty of Seinfeld theme cues, but yeah, no, I'm very excited, and wouldn't you know it? Of course, Saga's coming back right in the midst of Lopper season, as everyone calls it. So I think this was just another little wink and a nod from BKV and the crew to say, we know that you forced us to do this.
Honestly, what's going to be interesting is like you said, like all of these were written pre Horns and Wings. Surely there's going to be some Horns and Wings winks and nods in the new issues.
Issue 1. It's gonna be.
It's a double length Lance Corporal McHenry background issue.
It's gonna be just a 44-page conversation between Lance Corporal McHenry and Fard.
Yeah,
on the Dragon Train.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how BKV, shouts out his, most harshest critics, the people that hold him to the standard, that really allow him to thrive as the artist he is.
You know what I'm excited for? Just how much better it's gonna be now. Because of us.
Yeah, because we've said we criticized him like twice, and he's got to take that into account now.
It's kind of like how Last Jedi came out. All of those really smart people on the internet gave a lot of really productive criticism to Rian Johnson, and then he comes out with Knives Out, which is a perfect film.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's like how Last Jedi came out and all of those good, productive Star Wars... Yeah, you see where I'm going with this bit.
Yeah, it led to the masterpiece of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think, finally BKV and Fiona are going to get on the right track and making the first objectively good comic book.
Is there any other housekeeping that needs to be done?
2 things, Noah. First of all, related, still very related to Saga. Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Taco Bell happened.
Yeah.
You want to explain what happened watching your football game earlier?
Yeah. There was an ad. And it's a Taco Bell ad that features 2 cosplayers dressed as Marco, and it looks like they're gonna find love, and then one of them runs away to eat a taco. I think that's the premise of the ad. I'm not entirely clear on the actual premise of the ad.
An analog to a vagina.
Yeah,
so
yes.
It's a very offensive ad, and I don't like it.
But yeah, no. It's. I mean, I don't love Taco Bell. But it's cool to see that Saga is this sort of...
Shut up. I'm sorry. I just need to point out, Noah's views do not reflect the values of the Horns and Wings podcast. Please actually just ignore them. Everything he says is the opposite.
We've got like playing on like primetime ads, an ad that references
that is cool.
Saga, which is neat.
Yeah.
It's there's really not much to say about it other than it's neat, I think.
I mean, if you weren't sold on a live-action Saga before, just go check out this ad. I think you'll be on board. Coming to CBS this fall.
Oh, God. Because network TV adaptations of Brian K. Vaughan's work have been so stellar.
No joke. I sincerely think, though, the best possible adaptation of Saga would be a daytime soap opera.
Oh my God, that would be
hyper
amazing.
Low budget. That would be the fucking best.
I mean, you've even got the Hazel narration thing going on, right? Like I want a Saga adaptation that's tonally like Jane the Virgin.
Except worse. And then last thing I want to touch on. Have you watched any Y the Last Man yet?
No, I haven't actually. I watched the trailer and it convinced me that maybe I don't want to watch Y the Last Man.
So, get ready for this bombshell, Noah. I heard it is mixed reviews. I've heard mixed things online. I watched the first episode. I'm like, all right, that was fine. I'll give it a chance. I'll watch some more. I think I'm 6 or 7 episodes deep at this point. I sincerely think it's fucking great.
Yeah?
I truly, really, really like this show. The cast is fantastic. They've gone a really good way with how they fill out the episodes. the side stuff is actually just as intriguing as following Yorick and stuff, because the two decisions they've made is they're following Hero, the sister, and we kind of get to see the origin of the Amazons, which is really cool. And then they're following Yorick's mother, the president, and seeing it's essentially, what if Ivanka Trump was the only person left
that's
from
fun.
Trump's administration, and butting up against that. And that's a separate character from Yorick's mom. And so it gets into some really good, essentially, what if men died today with today's political climate.
That's really interesting.
It's very good. Yeah, and then, I think once you get to however many episodes in that you have that perfect trinity of Yorick, 355, and Dr. Mann, and actually see them start playing off of each other and stuff, I think this show is really great.
I'll try to check it out, but also I don't even know how to get it in Canada because we have bizarre streaming laws and don't have Hulu. I'm sure I could get it on something, but we'll investigate that.
How do you watch your FX shows, bro? How do you watch your What We Do in the Shadows?
I want to watch What We Do in the Shadows, but
How do you watch your Atlanta? What's wrong with you?
I really want to watch Atlanta. I want to watch these shows, but I think you can get an FX add-on to Crave maybe, because Canada's telecommunications is a monopoly, all owned by it's an oligopoly, all owned by Bell and Rogers, and
in Canada.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. But also unrelated. Well, not unrelated, but unrelated to Saga. There is also this great post-apocalyptic adaptation of a comic that I did watch. It's by, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name's Jeff Lemire.
No.
No? Well, it's called Sweet Tooth, and it's really great, and you should watch it.
That sounds like an American name.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that you would like him. Yeah, I will say it is, a great adaptation and a stroke of genius to just be like, hey, we're pretty much mid-apocalyptic right now.
Yeah.
Let's do post-apocalyptic that's actually like not the most depressing shit ever.
Yeah. I think it's definitely like not true to the tone of the comics, but I also think that like we don't need more grimdark post-apocalypse.
Well, I mean, that's why I still have not finished the comics, just because I started during the Trump era, and I was just like, I don't need this right now.
Yep.
I don't want to do this to myself emotionally. That's why it's taken me, like, I love the Last of Us games, and I still have not beaten the second one because I can do like a level per month, and that's how much I can emotionally take.
And because you don't like, emotionally taxing works of art, you've dedicated yourself to a podcast about the nice, light-hearted romp that is Saga.
Now, I want to point out, last arc was very fun, very upbeat. Did we get any majorly traumatizing? We got the prison rescue last time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and that fantastic. And we got the heist with Marco and Alana, which was super fun. We met Petrichor.
We've just got the family reunited.
Yeah. So I think that, I think it's kind of like, your own life where you just get through those few problems you have up front, and then it's just all smooth sailing from there.
Yep. Naturally. Speaking of.
Yep.
Shall we do the thing? Shake the rust off?
I want to talk about more other things. I want to talk about more other things for 20 minutes.
Welcome to Horns and Wings, the podcast where we talk about other things. This cover.
Horns and other wings.
This cover is... So, I don't actually know what's going on in the actual issue cover because this is I think it's a wraparound cover, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the right side of if you're looking at it in the trade, the right side of the image is the front of
Yeah.
the cover.
Yeah, because I've got it in the trade, and it's just the dopest fucking shit. That's what's going on, John. It's just like a giant battle between the horns and the wings. You've got like it looks like they're fighting on this almost like rainbow colored battleground with like big plumes of smoke in the sky. You've got armies, people on winged horses, one of those giant turtle stomper things in the background. Just like a very kind of like action packed two sides facing off sort of cover.
Yeah, you're talking about the multicolored ground. I'm trying to think of the logistics of how it might be this, but it really reminds me of like those thing they do at like festivals and stuff where it's that like powder that
like Unholy
colored. Yeah, no, it's very much that. It's that painted powders. Really for anyone who doesn't to just cover that gap of anyone who doesn't get what you're talking about. Slow-mo guys is the other part of that Venn diagram of things that use painted powders and multicolored powders.
Yep.
But this reminds me a lot of that, and I'm trying to think of like, have we seen kind of any bombs or gases or magic or my first thought was like a
flare.
Yeah, like a flare type thing or something they would use that would have this powder. But also it could just be like, they saw a picture of the ground covered in that and they used that as inspiration of what if the planet actually looked like that.
Yeah. Honestly, what I was gonna say is it kind of reminds me of like the planet in The Last Jedi, where it's like there's like a covering of stuff.
Yeah, the salt planet.
Yeah, unveils that. But yeah, no, it's just like this is just Fiona Staples at the top of her game doing like a big panoramic battle.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
And then we start with the actual issue. Now, 30 minutes into the episode.
As always. Yeah. We open on a splash page of Hazel, looking adorable, holding Ponk Conk, just cuddled up with her wings spread out, these like nice kind of like purple flower lights around her. Just a real cozy scene. And we get Hazel narration that reads, "Families are like goddamn wildfires. You turn the page to, they may start out small, but brother, watch them grow." We turn the page and we see Alana and Marco watching Hazel sleep like creepy helicopter parents. Alana is trying to convince Marco that they need to tell Hazel that she's pregnant, while Marco insists they need to wait until they know for sure. They kind of just wax poetic about their daughter and feel all lovey-dovey when suddenly an orange light starts to go off on the ship. We end on some more transitional Hazel narration. My family and our newest house guests were in the middle of a long journey to our next potential safe harbor. We're back, John.
We're back. And we're cozy. See, this is gonna be fine.
Yeah, honestly, like, I don't even really have that much to say about the scene other than it's just really nice. It's just really nice to see them, like still there is still the question of like telling Hazel, and Marco and Alana talk about like how it might be dangerous interspecies breeding, and then Alana's like, well, that's propaganda, like we were told that, and look at Hazel. But yeah, it's just a nice little small scene to start off this arc.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I really love this room of just floating like bioluminescent flowers as night lights, and then the grass as the carpeting.
Yeah.
Is just, it seems, and then she's sleeping in this kind of like tree knot / like bird nest.
Yeah, and there's like she's got like a little shelf full of these weird like wooden toy things.
Oh my gosh, when are we gonna get the stuffed carrot merch? I love that thing.
Yeah, I want the turtle on wheels.
Which I just realized that's essentially like the equivalent of toy soldiers, where it's like military propaganda.
Yep.
Do we recognize what that little building is? Let us know in the comments if you recognize
Question of the week.
That little building.
What's the little building?
Week. Do our jobs for us?
I think that's basically it. Just a nice little intro scene. Honestly, this issue moves fast. I was I was very kind of shocked reading it. We're also into territory where I've read most of these issues once or twice. Toward the back half of this, only once. So like I don't have as clear a memory as whereas like the first volume and like honestly like the first two trades I've read a lot.
But you know what's weird is that for some reason it almost feels like I've repressed this volume, and I have no idea why that would be the case because I'm sure it's very fun.
Yes.
But for some reason it feels like my brain's rejecting a lot of it. Two thoughts on this scene, though, really quick. One, I just want to point out that we haven't really talked about how the rocket ship tree, and this isn't to sound like the douchey, like, New York City is the third character in this film, but, like, the rocket ship tree is kind of its own character. And I feel like that's going to be...
certainly is, yeah.
Like, there is a level of intelligence to it, of, you know, it has these alarm systems and it knows how to create certain things and be habitable in certain ways and stuff. Yeah, and I think that it's interesting that if this was a normal ship, it'd be like, oh yeah, that's just its operating system. But it's more of a character since it is organic. I'm sure Brian K. Vaughan will fucking murder it somehow, now that I've said that. He's like, oh yeah, another thing for me to kill.
Yeah, another thing you love. Let's hurt
it. I mean, I hate this thing, and I hope it dies, Brian. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, because I don't know if we've really talked about it before, but do we have a reason to think that Hazel is the only one of her kind at this point, beyond people's reactions to wanting to capture or kill her?
Yeah, I think we talked about this briefly once, where it's like we don't really know at this point. I suspect maybe that's something that'll be interesting for the our predictions, because I could see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, we don't really know. Like we do have the like Alana and Marco say that like there's this quote. Marco says, pregnancy is a tenuous thing, especially between our species.
Yeah, which, and you can assume that is an assumption on their part because they were taught their whole life that you can't have a child between the species and stuff, and the other side is inhuman, and it's the equivalent of bestiality to sleep with one of them. Yeah, I do like that this comic kind of secretly has the same driving question as Why the Last Man, where it's like, why is Yorick the only one to live? And it's kind of this background mystery that's always there but almost always ignored, because we do get I don't even consider this spoilers, but we do get an explanation of why is the last man.
Why is the last Is that the next spin-off of you talking you two to me?
Oh my god, I will say a fucking great spin-off to this podcast would just be WHY the last
Why the Last Man, yeah.
Why the Last Man? Why the Last Men is what it will be called. But yeah, no, I like that there's this thing that we kind of take for granted, and it's smart to do it in that way, because they might explain it why there hasn't been one before, and they might not, and both will be satisfying, because it's not like Lost, where it's like, this is the reason you're watching this, to find out the answers to this. So yeah, we'll talk about that in predictions, I guess. Scene number 2.
Scene the second. Just gonna say, one of the great page turns in Saga history.
This is no spoilers for 10 seconds from now. The Hazel transitional narration continues. My family and our newest house guests were in the middle of a long journey to our next potential safe harbor. Whoever said getting there is half the fun was a complete asshole. Then we get a series of page-tall panels as we see first the rocket ship tree barreling upward through space, and that's juxtaposed with a very Jeff Bezos-ly close-up of Prince Robot IV's very erect penis.
It's a good-looking dick, too.
No, yeah, you can't hear it because Discord's cutting it out, but I am applauding right now. Forrest starts to masturbate, saying, let's clear out this cannon before it backfires. We see his fantasies projected onto the screen, an image of Princess Robot in the nude, interrupted by an image of the stock with the hole blasted into her chest. He's turned off, like, literally.
Yep.
His screen turns off. And then he tries again. He pictures two men having sex, but decides he's not quite in the mood for that today. And he finally lands on the image of a naked woman. And it's a shot that slowly pans up to her head from behind. She turns to look at him, and her face suddenly transforms into Alana's face. And he's startled and once again turns off his screen. Forrest sits up in bed, unsatisfied and disgusted with himself. The narration begins again. There had been a time when Sir Robot had wanted nothing more than to kill both of my parents with his bare hands. And that's how Prince Robot's doing.
Okay, can we talk about how absolutely genius this narration of whoever said getting there is half the fun was a complete asshole over Prince Robot getting there but not being able to fully get there?
I didn't put that together. Oh, that's fantastic.
Just, I never tire of what Fiona Staples is able to do with, like, the television face. Like, it's such a, this page where you see him kind of, like, almost like surfing through porn on his head. Mm-hmm. And, like, especially this last panel where it's starting to turn around and it's kind of, like, noisy and distorted before it's the reveal of Alana. It's so good.
They did it before Tom King's Mr. Miracle, which is another great comic people should read. But it really applied that kind of distorted white noise effect as an emotional thing. Saga did it first, and yeah, I like the white noise before we see the woman's ass. Yeah, kind of almost like it's there. He's tuning into the image, trying to make it out in the noise. Also, we've complimented a lot on the use of like tall panels and stuff like that in this comic. I'm gonna say it's very flattering to use a page long tall panel to do a dick pic. That's a great dick pic strategy.
Like that's possibly approaching like a 2 scale dick pic.
Get my scissors. So yeah. If you need tips, which you shouldn't and don't, but tall panels are very flattering for dicks.
I also think it's interesting to know canonically that the robots are circumcised.
So we're learning a lot about the religion in this world. I also have a question for you, Noah. This won't even be a question of the week. I just want to know your opinion on this.
On circumcision?
In what way is this? We had to have covered that at some point. That's definitely, if we haven't talked about circumcision in between the arcs, what are we fucking doing? But in what way is his cannon going to backfire, Noah? Are we learning something new about the anatomy of robots right now?
Yeah, they need to whack it every 3 days or else their dick explodes. I don't know.
I feel like this would have come up earlier. Literally. It's one of those where it's like, oh, I like this writing of let's clear out this cannon before it backfires. But then I'm like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about for?
It's also, I just love the juxtaposition between like sweet, warm family moment and then you turn the page and it's just dick and trauma.
Yeah. Which again, nothing captures real life better than trying to masturbate and then very quickly followed by guilt. And sadness.
Yeah, I think it's
saying what is wrong with me.
I do think it is interesting that like the like he flashes to like one of his victims that he killed there, right? Like it's not like it's flashing to a battle scene where he's dying. It's like it's flashing to someone that he killed.
And it's that kind of confusing thing where, the stock is obviously a very sexual just character in her design. And so that's such a like just awful juxtaposition that's stuck in his brain now forever.
Yep.
Of having murdered this very beautiful sexual thing.
Yep.
Yeah, good job, Robot. You're being consistent with your character.
Is that scene here? Anything else?
Nope.
We get some narration. Thankfully, my folks had a way of growing on people, some of them anyway. And we are in the loom room, the spinning wheel room, just the spinning garden where Bar made Alana's stuff back. R.I.P. Bar, pour one out for the homies. And it's Petrichor now, sitting at the magical spinning wheel thing in the ship. It's absolutely gorgeous and peaceful. Isabel appears to talk to Petrichor, but Petrichor is grumpy, angry at Alana, and worried for Hazel. She thinks Hazel might out her, but Isabel insists that Hazel keeps her own secret, and Isabel says that she doesn't judge people about what's going on below the waist, which is a line we will unpack in the future. Yeah. They're kind of starting to bond. Petrichor asks why Isabel chooses to take the form that she does, and Isabel says that it's how she looked before she died, and adds that she got her Pyrosis shirt at the final show before they broke up. Petrichor says you were alive to see Pyrosis, which is a cool bit of world building. And then, once again, we have the orange light come in, and we see Hazel walking in to say, "You guys come quick. Something real bad is happening," with just a giant smile on her face. It's neat. It's neat to see these kind of like vignettes set up with the orange light. And something that I think is really cool is that the first time it appears for Marker and Alana, it's kind of like a small panel at the side of a corner. Then when it appears for Prince Robot, it's almost almost a third of the page, and then when it appears for the others, it's almost 2/3 of the page. Like the moment of the orange light, it gets more weight on the page each subsequent time.
Yeah, and it's a cool way to kind of imply simultaneous action. Although I will say it's slightly off because we see Hazel sleeping in the first scene when the light turns on for them, and then she comes in almost immediately as the light turns on for Petrichor and Isabel.
Ding!
Yeah, now I'm gonna stop talking about that because who gives a fuck? But I do want to point out it's cool that this is like the only scene that we don't get transitional
transitional horror.
It's the first thing we don't get Hazel's transitional narration, and it's literally just Hazel being the transitional narration in person. No, there's a lot of stuff that I really like about this scene. First of all, it's just the fact that Isabel the ghost says boo as like a way to pop in on someone, which if I am ever a ghost, I am going to do that constantly.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. We get more of the fun. Fiona likes to have a consistent color palette throughout the book, and the fact that we get the pink flowers that match really well the pink of Alana on Prince Robot's screen and the pink of Isabel.
Yeah.
Makes it all look real nice.
Yeah. I mean, I love the color palette of this like weaving room with the roses and like orange flowers as well, and the magical thread weaving around. This is definitely a contender for favorite places on the ship. Mm-hmm. Oh, also there's another fucking housekeeping thing that reminds me that we should have plugged. That we did an episode of Amusement Sparks on Saga.
Oh yeah, I have that written down to we'll save that for our plug at the end of the episode.
All right.
Because I have nothing to fucking plug.
But yeah, no, just absolutely gorgeous scene.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if we've heard it before, but is this the first time we've heard the name Pyrosis as the band t-shirt?
I believe it is. I believe that this is the expanding of the canon of that shirt.
Do you recognize the brilliance of that name? Do you know what Pyrosis is?
Fire something.
It's wow. It's a fire sister.
Oh, pyrosis.
No, it's medical term for heartburn.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So the fact that it's a flaming heart on her t-shirt, like, that's such a good. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I feel like I wonder if that's the sort of thing where like I bet you that's the sort of thing where Fiona Staples just came up with the flaming heart t-shirt on the design, and Brian K. Vaughan later wrote, "Oh, it's like a band shirt for Pyrosis." Like I that definitely feels like something where it's just like, the character design going on to inform the character's background.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's nothing more satisfying. Like, this is why this series is really just like a writer's dream, is the idea of just getting to do such prolonged world building.
Yeah.
And it's in such, like, because it's comics specifically, he can do it in such small chunks of these, very sparse in terms of panels used issues. And then obviously with such a big break that they get to take, but just the fact that it feels so, like, to actually get the time to flesh all of this out is so satisfying.
And that's something I really love, that like a lot of world building, especially a lot of kind of like sci-fi stuff, misses, is that it doesn't have pop culture.
Yeah,
like that's something I really love about Saga, is that it has its own pop culture. Like, I guess in Star Wars you've got like Figural Dan and the Modal Nodes and jizz music. But beyond that, but yeah, like it doesn't feel like the pop culture breathes this life into the world, because it just makes the characters that much more relatable. Like, they have favorite bands, and they have the open circuit that they watch for trash TV and like stuff like that, right? Like, I really love that, because I feel like so often world building gets caught up in the big epic scale, and this definitely has that. But it's nice to see just like this is a vibrant world with just fun stuff.
There's so rarely that in those interior lives of characters in sci-fi beyond like Luke wants to fly shit.
Tashi Station to pick up some power converters.
But I will say that, like, obviously to Star Wars' credit, the fact that they had a CD bar with a band playing music and stuff was already so fucking bizarre for sci-fi. So this is certainly more of an evolution of that, rather than of Star Wars specifically, rather than it's taking that seed of something brilliant Star Wars.
It's taking the seed of jizz and expanding.
It's taking that man's seed.
For those that don't know, canonically, officially in Star Wars, in case you didn't know this,
explain this, because that's even funnier. That we're just like, jizz.
The music played by the Cantina Band is called jizz music canonically.
Yeah, that is John Williams. He was like, it's not quite jazz.
It's jizz.
Which is the fucking best. Sometimes I just remember that and be really fucking happy. But yeah, I will. Yeah, there's a lot of really good. Obviously just these little character moments, which is kind of this whole issue, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
but just little character scenes.
Yeah, it's honestly, especially after not having really read in a long time, it's kind of nice to return and just see. It feels like you're just kind of setting the default emotional state for the characters in this arc, and I think that that's something BKV usually does in it. I mean, it's almost like each arc is almost its own little hero's journey, right? And right now we're setting up, okay, this is the ordinary world for this arc. The family's together, they're happy. Petrichor's a little kind of like, salty at them, but is starting to be integrated into the group a little bit. Prince Robot is horny and sad.
Yeah, no, it's and also, we've talked before, specifically with issue 25, where it was like, who is this for? That it's like a recap, but it's not a recap. The thing that somehow just now occurred to me, I don't know if we've brought it up as one of the potential things before, but I will say we've waited about as long between episodes as it takes if you are
that's true.
reading the series as it comes out just through trade paperback.
Yep.
So the idea that, and I think,
So
that
we were
explains
just
a
trying
lot
to give
about
you
this book
an
in general.
authentic experience. That's all we were doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Always. I think that the thing that this book does a lot, and that kind of enforces quite a bit, is that this is very much a very trade-focused book, or volume-focused book, in addition to, obviously, the issues. Like, it's... I feel like that's its more soap opera-y form if you're reading the single issues as they come out. But obviously they have very, very confined arcs per trade paperback. And so, yeah, I think when we look at it through the lens of it's been 6 months since you read one of these, so you just need a light debriefing of this.
Yeah.
Then it makes a lot more sense. So that question that we asked in issue 25, I just now answered. Congrats.
Should we go to the next scene?
Let's go to the next scene. Also, Petrichor's outfit looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, well, Petrichor's outfit always looks awesome. I mean, in general, I just love this scene because it's a conversation between probably my two favorite characters, Petrichor and Isabel.
Mm-hmm. Also, she matches Prince Robot in his black and gray garb really well. So I just want them to hang out now. All right. Yep. Next scene. Prince Robot enters the engine room where everyone else is gathering because of the yellow light. He's putting on his shirt saying, "What have you sex criminals ruined this time?"
Love that. That's clearly a wink and a nod, right?
Yeah, which we will talk about. Alana says, "One of those goddamn fuel arteries," which is interesting terminology. "We plugged over landfall must have sprung a leak. We're suddenly coasting on fumes, and they're trying to figure out where to land." Marco says he can toss in the crash helm, specifically our spent crash helm, into the furnace. So that kind of implies that it's only got so much power in it, but still works as exotic matter to get us into the next system. Alana says there's nothing there. And then Petrichor walks in with Hazel and Isabel saying, "True, there are no planets to land on, but if we time things right, we may be able to hitch a ride on a comet." And no one likes this idea.
Yep.
Everyone is very much not on board. And Marco pieces together that Petrichor is talking about Fang.
Fong.
Are we going with Fong?
I mean, that's how I'd pronounce it.
Oh, I just thought like Fang is just a cool way to spell like the
I mean, it could be either. It's probably Fang's fine. We'll
figure
Fang.
that out in the in-betweens. But we end with Hazel narration. "Nothing in the universe was safe from the endless war between Mom's planet and Dad's moon."
Yeah, so Sex Criminals is a book by another comic book by Image.
Yeah, by the fantastic Matt Fraction and the fantastic Chip Zdarsky. Two really cool guys. I should post somewhere the picture of them reading my comic book and acting like... here's a quick anecdote about how cool these guys are. I asked them if they would... Because I was doing this, I had just come out with my very first comic book. And I was doing this thing where if anyone ordered the comic book, I told them, like, post a picture of yourself just reading it, acting like it's the worst comic you've ever read. And I'll repost it on my Tumblr, which used to be a thing. And so I was like, oh, it'd be great if I could get Matt and Chip to do this. And they were so fucking nice that they're like, we don't want to act like this is a bad book. So what if we just act like this is the best comic we've ever read? And so I have a picture of Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky looking at a copy of Neon Noir. And just their minds are blown at how fucking amazing this book is. But yeah, they do Sex Criminals, which is coming out around the same time. This is really the golden age for Image Comics, I'd say, right now. Like, Walking Dead was kind of the beginning of it a bit, but then you get into Saga and Sex Criminals and Wicked and Divine and Pretty Deadly and all these fucking amazing books that came out around like 2012 to 2014.
I still haven't actually read Sex Criminals.
So good. You would love it. You would love it. It is probably the funniest comic.
I get the sense that it's almost as horny as Saga.
nearly. Slightly less penis.
That's also when Chew was coming out then too, right? And Chew's pretty fun.
Yeah, Chew was I think Chew kind of predated or was like those like little gems that Image was coming out with, like with Walking Dead and Chew. And I think it was probably just Walking Dead, the show, that was bringing some more attention to Image and what they were doing that really got a lot of these books recognized. And that's when a lot of the, it became, instead of the goal being to write a Marvel or DC book, the goal became to write a Marvel or DC book so you can get enough of an audience to go work on your Image book.
Yeah.
And so the best writers at the time were heading over to Image to do a lot of cool stuff. But just a quick, for anyone that doesn't know, Sex Criminals is literally about a couple that whenever they orgasm, they stop time and they decide to use this power to rob banks. And it's the best fucking thing. Noah, you should read that. People at home, you should read that. It's a good one.
I don't think we've got that much more for this scene. I think we can jump into your summary unless there's anything big you wanted to say here.
I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. A montage of the history of Fang. Fang? I'm going with Fang, dude. I'm going with Fang. I like I think we've called it Fang earlier in the series.
Okay. I think we probably had this debate earlier in the series.
Yeah, and so let's just assume I won it because I'm a master debater. Montage of the history of Fang, a crowd of diverse races and species buying and trading in a bazaar, many with varying degrees of distrust and hatred on their faces. Then we cut to a Chinese dragon politician flanked by two solid gold dragon guards, gives a speech from like a high podium, and the narration explains that Fang was brought to order by either a duly elected president or a strong-armed dictator, depending on who you ask. Then we get glimpses of a violent insurrection, many of the insurrections looking similar to the people we saw at the market. The horns and the wings quickly took sides. The narration continues to explain that the two were less motivated by the residents of Fang and more motivated by the fuel the comet was flush with. We see younger versions of Alana, Prince Robot, and Marco fighting their own battles on Fang, as well as a very young Sophie being sold off to the creepy fishman sex trafficker. In reference to the latter, the narration concludes, "The locals had a pretty rough go of it too." So, in other words, the Middle East.
Yep.
This is not so subtle in this arc.
Yep.
It's the Middle East.
What year was this issue published?
Probably late 2013.
Yeah, that's
early 2014.
Like right along the rise of, the Islamic State and stuff like that, right?
Or actually, you know what? I'm going to say, a bit after that, now that I think of it, because this is at least like 40 months after issue 1. So,
yeah.
But yeah, this is early Trump era.
Yep.
And this is when, it really became more of a conversation of why the fuck are we still in Afghanistan and like what the fuck is going on with any of this. And also we saw a resurgence of people trying to be like, well, yeah, now that we have Trump, like, we can agree, like, George Bush was way better, right? And then a lot of people were like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I think the reason why I'm inclined to pronounce it Fong is because of the Chinese dragon and the Chinese dragon things, because Fong is how it would be pronounced in Mandarin.
Yeah, well, also, I think I'm inclined to pronounce it Fang because of the alligators and bears.
Yep, that's fair. I mean, I think we see a couple different species that we now learn are if not native, at least live on Fang. Like we've got the bear people, we've got the green dudes, like that
wacky waving inflatable arm flailing
green dudes, guy.
Yeah, and I think it's more of an implication of this is just a melting pot kind of comment which is such a cool, that is some just really fucking good world building of there is a comet hurtling through space, so obviously it's a trading post.
Yeah.
Like it's a moving, traveling trading post. And
essentially
you hop
Halley's
onto
Comet,
it whenever
right?
it's near your planet. Yeah. That's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's such a you get such a little history of this world here that's so good, and it looks so vibrant and then so awful.
Mm-hmm. Now, because we're seeing now that Fang is kind of like a crystalline rock candy. It looks icy, but the actual ground does not look that way. It doesn't necessarily match up too much, but with like the cover of the book, but also it's war torn. And I think you can see there are these really cool purple mountains. Yeah. That they're fighting on. Oh, that's a question. Was Fang where Alana had fucked up her job, because we talked to the lady robot in front of the dead dragon when Upshur and Doff were doing their investigation on Alana.
Oh yeah.
And the lady robot said that she had fucked up. She had hesitated blowing up a bridge, like a civilian bridge. And so they put her on the shit job of guarding the prison. So I think that might have been Fang. Like, we've gotten multiple references to it. Obviously, with Sophie, we've gotten references to Fang, too.
It's remarkable how, with so little detail, Fiona Staples can make that Alana look so much younger. Like, she looks so young there, and I don't even know exactly, like, obviously there's a different haircut and a certain expression, but she looks younger, which I think is really impressive, because it's not like it's like a close up. Like, she's pretty small in the panel.
Because this does feel like one of the youngest, like even pre her and Marco meeting.
Yeah,
she seems, and I think it's kind of that we see the childlike horror on her face, because it's juxtaposed with magic lightning cutting off another soldier's arm.
In general, this whole montage is gory. And like that splash page, this splash page where it says, "As always, the wings and horns were happy to take sides," and just has several brutal murders happening simultaneously, is like such a good kind of encapsulation of what the horns and wings represent in the story, of just like pure senseless violence, right? Like, there's one of the turtle tank's heads is exploding, and there's like this really badass looking dude stabbing one of the wings. Like, it's
I'm gonna blow your fucking mind right now. I'm gonna blow everyone at home's mind. You ready for this?
The turtle's mind was already blown. Sorry.
Its head was exploding. That's the joke. Noah?
Yeah?
That's petrichor.
Oh my god.
We see the cut that made that cool scar through petrichor's eyebrow.
Oh my god. Yeah.
This is pre-transition petrichor.
Yeah, her horns, those are her horns. Yeah. Yeah.
At first I was like, is this person related to it? No, that is petrichor.
Holy shit.
I just blew my own fucking mind.
You blew my mind, yeah.
It only took 5 readings of this issue and me scouring it for details and then just getting bored while you're talking for me to finally realize.
That's the real magic of this show. It's the bored while you're talking. That's the
that's where the gems come out. And we got a lot of gems.
Yeah, that is 100% egg petrichor.
Yeah. Which is the origin of her cool ass eyebrow. It's good shit. Also, clearly the burning fields that Marco's running to, very, very Middle East.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of
violence.
A lot of super interesting. Yeah.
It's okay. We're having a nice wholesome story, and we're going to this death trap of a comet. What could go wrong?
Oh, I was just looking through my notes and I just realized something. Just to clarify, in an earlier scene, just because we didn't really give it service, we said we'd talk about that 100% confirms that Isabel is old.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
A few pages ago. Yeah. That she says, you were alive to see pyrosis, as in you were old enough to.
Yeah.
This is something that Petrichor clearly was not alive or very young to see. So so some confirmation there. Isabel is in fact old as fuck. But yeah, in regards to this scene, it's also a very good transition of literally the fish dude walking. Sophie
walking toward the page turn. Yeah,
towards the page turn. And who knows what will happen in that page turn.
Yeah, that's true.
Do we want to find out?
Quickly, I also just wanted to, again, I love this splash page. Mm-hmm. I just really wanted to compliment the eye lines here, right? Where in the top right corner, you've got, as always, the wings and horns were happy to take sides. And you've kind of got like the mountain sloping up and the turtle guiding you up to that. And then from that, you've got this like real nice kind of angle of shots coming down and then Egg Petrichor stabbing that again brings you back down. Like this is one of those, this is like a perfect composition, and you can just see how your eyes like they come to the page, lead you up to the narration, and then lead you down to the foreground. Like it's just really impeccable composition. Those are the kinds of things that really they go unnoticed, but they make Saga so readable because of that.
Yeah. Even more credit, because we do not give them credit enough, but Phonographics, because, you know, they could have just as easily put the words, like, on that pink cliff face there.
Yep.
Next to Petrichor, or like
in the bottom corner
or something. But the fact that it's giving us this, we read the top right and then move down.
Wait, no, but isn't that's not Phonographics, because doesn't Fiona Staples write the
right? Yeah,
narration?
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck you, Phonographics. What the fuck are you doing?
You can't even do your own job.
We love you, Phonographics. You're the fucking best. Phonographics gets one of my favorite moments that I remember most in this volume too.
There's some
lettering choice in here.
Yeah, there's some really good lettering choices across this volume. So hold that Phonographics praise.
Yeah. Not yet, Phonographics. You gotta earn it after 37 issues of fucking flawlessness. But the fact that because of that specific placement, and then the lightning leading you down towards like Petrichor's head, and then but anytime our eye line is moving with the action, with the motion in the page is so fucking good. So the fact that our eyes are literally following from Petrichor's face down her arm towards like where her dagger sword thing is being shoved.
Yeah.
And getting that reveal in that order and having it match the actual motion of if it was in motion is so good.
Yeah, it's
and also that's just a fucking gnarly kill of stabbing into the open mouth of a soldier.
This is just a masterful page.
Good shit.
And again, honestly, with the eye lines, this last panel, you have the line leading you to the boat, and then goes over, and the locals had a pretty rough go over it too. You read that, and then it's the reveal of Sophie being taken away and walked off screen, like you said, or walked off panel. Like, it's a really, really fantastic work for eye lines. And then as Sophie walks off page, the narration says its infrastructure was in shambles. Fang was left with only one real export, refugees, and we see Sophie staring up at Fang going across the sky. She says that's the last time. This is it's worth noting. I don't actually think we mentioned this. There's been a time jump since the last issue. Not a big one, but definitely a slight time jump.
Yeah.
Because we just found out Alana was pregnant at the end of the last one. And in this one, she's starting to show. So we've jumped like at least a couple months, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's been we haven't seen Sophie and Gwendolyn since the Will woke up.
Yeah, we haven't seen them in a long time, and
end of 2 volumes ago.
And both of them have new looks. Sophie's got a new kind of like yellow jacket thing and hair and buns and some dope John Lennon glasses. Gwendolyn's got a white thing in her hair and a new jacket that looks very similar to like what she used to wear, but with slight differences.
Of course, the white thing, the white streak in her hair, caused from her lightning spell to
Yes.
fight off the dragon.
But yeah, Sophie says that's the last time that she'll be able to see home for another few months. She says, I barely miss the place. Lying Cat says, lying. And then Gwendolyn appears. Sophie tells Gwendolyn that she's applying to intern with a real freelancer and wants to finish what the will started. Gwendolyn says that Sophie doesn't need to worry about that, and that the best contract killer working has already picked up where the will left off. Gwendolyn says that she's coming over to check in to make sure Sophie doesn't have any family left on Fang, warning that if she does, she needs to tell them to leave immediately. And Sophie says, why now, Gwendolyn? I mean, it's not like life could get any worse on Fang. And then Gwendolyn turns her back. And Gwendolyn, ... is how we end the scene. So that's nothing ominous about that, John.
I'm glad that we're really playing it well, that nothing bad will happen in this arc. In our defense, I think literally in the next 2 pages, it just, they talk about how fucked the end of this arc is, because they like to do that with the narration of just being like, things aren't going to go well. We're not giving anything away that you're not going to learn in the next 2 minutes. But yeah, it's good to see them back. This made me realize how much I missed Lion Cat.
Yeah.
Just background. I love seeing on that second page Lion Cat just stretching, getting down from where they're hanging out.
The great bit too where Sophie says that the whole reason why Gwendolyn didn't get the job is because of her relationship with Marco, and Gwendolyn says it's not that simple, and Lion Cat starts to say lying, and then Gwendolyn shoves her staff in the mouth, and Lion Cat gets just great acting by Lion Cat here, just greater reaction shot of lying.
Yeah, and also just how impressive it is that gag works so well and is not disorienting, despite this is the fact, like, they are so fucking good at making comics that they know they don't need Lion Cat on the panel for a 2-panel joke.
Yeah.
Cutting to lying, and they don't even need the staff.
Yeah.
In the first panel, because one, Lion Cat has such distinct lettering. There's your praise, Phonographics. You finally earned it. And then 2, just I love the speed that it implies of Gwendolyn's reaction to it, that she is not even, you don't even see the staff. She's not even poised to do it. Yeah, if you're not looking at the book, go check out that little exchange there. And then Lion Cat's just like totally unamused with this interaction when she tells her to take a walk, and then like just skulking off. Again, I think that Lion Cat, there are artists that hate to draw horses and animals and stuff, but Lion Cat is just constantly Fiona just showing off.
And I feel like Lion Cat is actually something too where it's like Lion Cat was always great from the beginning, but you can tell the more that Fiona Staples does Lion Cat, the better an idea she has of him as a character. Them as a character? Her, him, them. Did we?
It's been established before.
It's her.
And we have not retained that information.
I think it's been established that it's a she, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like there's just so much personality in Lion Cat. And I love whenever we get time jumps in Saga and get new costumes, new outfits for the characters, because it's always just so exciting, and Fiona Staples is so good at character design that all of the new outfits just look so badass.
No, it's fantastic. I want there to be I wish that Saga was big enough that they could just do action figures for everything, so that you could just get really hyped about like, ooh, costume change, we're going to get a new action figure for this era of this character. But yeah, I absolutely love Gwendolyn's kind of jacket, top, tuxedo coat.
Then
with the midriff and then the
pencil skirt.
Looks so badass, especially, and then obviously it all complements the new streak in her hair, and it's awesome. And then we get a little reveal here that's kind of hard to miss, but I really like how they've done it, which is Gwendolyn says, "You're a sweet girl, but I'm done thinking about Marco and whatever litter he's made with his dog."
Yep.
We see, and then, and the fact that it kind of transitions from her holding her hand up just as a gesture to Sophie, to her looking at that hand that she's holding up to see a wedding ring on her, or at least an engagement ring on her finger.
And that's another one of those panels where we get when she's looking at the
no background.
Yeah, when she's looking at the ring.
Yeah, where we get it's the only shot on the page, which again, it seems to be used exclusively for really small detail. Yeah. Not exclusively, but it's often used for don't get distracted by all this other stuff and look at this really small detail. And yeah, it's really effective.
All right. Anything else here, or should you bring us home?
Oh, I do want to say, because a lot of the conflict in this scene is Sophie saying she wants to become a freelancer.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, reading that, I'm just like, that's absolutely something this book will do, is have Sophie fucking kill one of the most cool characters or something just because they're odd.
What's her freelancer name gonna be? The Sofa?
The Sofa.
The Sofa, yeah.
The girl would be cool.
Yeah.
Very Game of Thrones. Which, again, it is kind of getting in that Game of Thrones thing of just, like, I love anything in this book where, like, you're following these very distinct, often, worlds apart timelines, and anytime those characters cross paths, you are just so fucking anxious. And I really don't want to get to the point where freelancer Sophie crosses paths with fucking Marco and Alana.
Yeah. You just love all of the characters so much, and they are diametrically opposed to each other, and you hate it.
But yeah, so this whole scene is just to make you fucking dread whatever, because we know something terrible is going to happen to or on Fang. And cut to, let's go to Fang. The rocket ship tree blasts towards the crystalline comet of Fang. The group? What do we call
the gang?
They don't have a last name, do they? The gang?
The gang's all here.
The Sagamen.
The
Marco
Saga.
and Alana Sagamen.
Marco and Alana Saga. That's why it's called Saga. They're the Saga
Holy
family.
shit. The fucking last page. Here's our prediction episode. The last page is, and that's how I became Hazel Saga.
Yeah, no. It's like, what?
Hazel. What? Yeah, Hazel what?
Hazel Saga.
She looks at the spirit ghosts of Marco and Alana. Hazel Saga.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks so fucking much. I'm so angry about it.
So the Saga family.
So the Sagamans. They just finished burning the last of their exotic matter to make the rest of the trip to Fang, but 4 points out that there's nowhere to safely land. Quote, "This entire hellhole is an active theater of war." But Petrichor, that smarty, points out that the towns the war has destroyed are deserted, which is what they aim for. So on their descent, Hazel asks if they're moving somewhere new. Isabel says, "Just a quick pit stop, little goob."
A little goob.
And the Hazel narration comes in with, "Every world we visited was an adventure, and few adventures ended worse than this one." There it is.
Yikes.
Yay. So excited.
Dramatic irony.
The rocket ship tree lands and lays its massive roots down in the moonlit, blown-out refinery town. Marco and Petrichor go to scout out the surrounding area, Petrichor grabbing the bat-winged sword from Marco and taking the lead. She thinks it's all clear until she hears, Are you folks missionaries?" And a tiny meerkat creature in an orange polo. No more than, say, about 3 apples high.
Yep. Just
peeks out.
Fucking adorable.
Peeks out from behind the rubble. He says his name is Curdy, and he's real hungry, please.
God.
Alana offers him some food from the ship, and he asks, "Enough for all of us?" And then we end on our first, I believe, double-page final splash of this series.
Yep.
As a dozen more smiling meerkat little cuties poke out their heads from the rubble. And he says, "My family."
Oh, Curdy. Curdy, my heart. You make my heart melt. You cute little fucker.
Now, Curdy I absolutely love. But can I point out, once you get close to some of these faces, here this might be a good question of the week. We'll find out though once we get there. We have no idea what the question of the week is before we get there. Does this strike you as more of a looking for a cute reaction or a creeped out reaction? Is it an or an
Which one? Where?
I'm just saying, just some of them, because they have these, which is, biologically accurate, but they have these kind of solid black pinprick eyes with the little white dots at the center of them, and some of them seem, and so it's that thing of like you're suddenly surrounded by something, even if it is cute.
Well, I think this is the thing. Like, I think there's kind of this effect where like the front three, you see Curdy, and then the one in the hat, and then in the green, like those all look very cute. But as you go back, there's almost a sinister look to some of them. Like, especially there's this one guy in blue that's like peeking up from behind some rubble. He looks straight mean.
And then the one to the right, where it's like the only one that doesn't have the white dots. What's going on there?
Yeah. It's definitely this thing where it's like when you see him at the beginning, they look like kind of like kind, but then there's all these arrays at the background where you're right. It's kind of like when you go to take out the trash and there's a bunch of raccoons staring at you.
Yeah. Or it's just like, I fucking love these, but they will probably eat me right now.
Yeah. They have zero fear.
And we have established they are very hungry.
They say animals are more afraid of you than you are of them. That is not true with raccoons. I am far more afraid of raccoons than raccoons are of me.
But I assume this is just a nice reveal of which, again, we continue our war in the Middle East parallels with the refugees here.
Yep.
I think I know some of where this arc is going.
Good places, right? That's what they said. They said
places. Yeah.
The narration said few adventures ended better than this one. That's what it said.
I think they said. I mean, my interpretation is few adventures ended worse than this one because they didn't want it to end.
Oh, yeah,
So the fact that this adventure ends is just a bummer. It's just like when you see the guy pushing the box into the warehouse at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, you're just sad because you want more.
I love this panel of the rocket ship tree landing. Like, it almost looks like a eldritch abomination.
Yeah, and then the dust kicking up, which again, that's some colored dust that could be something in the soil or something that implies. I do like the idea of just the comet is picking up all these different particles and colors and stuff as it's hurtling through space too.
Yeah,
but it is consistent. I think it's just dust that's lit green by the green flame of the rocket ship tree. But yeah, this is a really cool and sort of creepy environment of going to this. It's like a canyon with these very Galactic Empire-esque oil refinery things built into the side of these canyon walls.
I also love, like, you see a lot of Petrichor's character here, where Petrichor, like, has early in the issue you've seen she's not very happy with, Marco or especially Alana, but like Marco's going out and she grabs the sword from him and says, "Hold up, family man, no point in you being the tip of this spear." So she's definitely.
Do you secretly care, Petrichor?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even the like relax dye job is like, it's like kind of her being like like she's kind of like, insulting Alana, but kind of in a playful way.
Yeah, it's not a slur anymore.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Yeah, that's an improvement.
Do we have a blue translation, John?
Yeah, do you want to take a guess? What is the blue say?
La Malrica Nabo. And I think it's saying, "My Moroccos are knobby."
Holy shit. You are fluent. Petrichor says, "the poor boy," in reference to Curdy.
Oh.
Such a cutie. Oh my gosh.
Do you think that they just like named him Cutie to begin with and then just added an R?
Actually, no, I think I looked it up what some names mean for next issue probably. But I wouldn't be surprised if Curdy was just a translation for cutie.
Oh, I looked up Curdy, and apparently it is a tunic or a type of shirt worn by women in South Asia. So yeah, it might just be a name.
Also, just a fucking cool shot of Petrichor coming out with the sword. That makes me want to animate panels again for this.
Oh,
shot of Petrichor coming out of the rocket ship.
I also love like the splash page at the end, the double splash. You can like kind of picture all of them like popping up kind of one at a time like meerkats do, right? From this different place.
Yeah, meerkats are just one of the most enjoyable to watch when it comes to animals. So this is they probably want a specific reaction when we were talking about, is this cute or creepy? If you choose a meerkat as the basis for your species, you want it to be cute, because there's nothing cuter.
Is this cute or creepy is my Tinder bio. Just kidding, I don't have Tinder. I have a wife.
You just broke so many hearts, Noah.
Doubtful.
I mean, they've seen that doodle of you. They know what they're missing out on. Yeah, I think that covers just about everything. Small thing on the page after the ship lands. I love any time we see the rocket ship tree kind of unfurling.
Yeah, the door's so cool.
It's just the coolest shit.
I was thinking that
and
too.
You see little remnants of that when Petrichor's coming out too. That's such a subtle little thing, but I would like that's one of the. I just want to see little vignettes of this, like just individual shots of this turned into live action, because that would be.
Yeah,
so
you
cool.
know, like the like Simpsons without Simpsons Instagram, or like Springfield without people, or whatever it's called. Have you ever seen those?
No.
Okay, well, it's this great.
What's it about?
Okay.
What do they have?
It's this Instagram where it's like basically just takes like shots of the Simpsons that are like establishing shots or stuff. It's like Springfield, and it's just kind of showing off Springfield. I would love that for Saga, just shots of different places in Saga without people, and like I just want a walking tour of the rocket ship tree.
Oh my god! I mean, that if there's ever a fucking good idea for a VR game.
Oh yeah.
Cool shit. Well, we survived. This wasn't painful. Nothing bad happened this issue.
And I think we even had some good analysis.
Yeah.
And we rightfully called out phonographics.
You only get them where you deserve them. If there's one thing we don't do here, we don't just hand out compliments like fucking Halloween candy here.
Yeah, you gotta earn it.
Yeah. This ain't no socialist paradise. Actually, this is a socialist paradise.
Yes.
I'm gonna go on record saying
the Horns and Wings
podcast.
Yeah, is officially a socialist paradise.
Noah, what's your favorite moment in this?
I wanted to say the dick, but I think I've got to go for the splash page with Egg Petrichor. That splash page, there's so much there. Like it's very dynamic. It looks very badass, but also, as always, the Horns and Wings were happy to take sides. Just really like. This panel just underlines the senselessness of it all. I love that moment. What about you, John?
Yeah, I really like this nice opening with Marco and Alana just talking in the first scene about like Marco saying, God, I love her little snores. I love the way she drools and stuff. I think is really, I like when things take time to actually like acknowledge what they've fought for and gained in previous things instead of moving on.
They get to have these happy moments.
Actually, I take all that back. It's the dick.
It's the dick.
I like that. That's a nice dick.
It is. It's a very sleek dick.
I'd say it's the perfect hybrid of man and machine, which is my Tinder bio. Noah, what are we doing for a song for this issue?
I feel like I've probably done this before, but I couldn't think of anything better. So I think we're just going to do another iteration of War, What Is It Good For by Edwin Starr. Because that's what I think when you montage over Fang and all of that. It's just all I want to listen to is the
But you
war.
could do
what is it good for? You knew it was coming. I just needed to surprise you with when I was gonna do it.
You did great.
Good God, y'all!
How How is your version of it somehow worse than the Jackie Chan and Rush Hour version of it? The joke is he's bad, Noah.
Yeah, the joke is I'm bad too, John. Also, for what it's worth, it'll sound even worse because I shouted those right into the mic, so they're definitely clipped.
No, I'm going with Comet it's a song from Steven Universe, and it's just a fun song that's enjoyable.
Speaking of fun songs that are enjoyable, Like We Never Left. Just clean. Fantastic.
It's like we never fucking leave. It's like no matter what you do, you can't escape us. Noah, do we have a question?
I can't think of one. Do you have one?
I thought of a fun one. I don't remember what we set up as a potential question. Oh, creepy or cute. You can add that if you want. I don't care if you think the ending is creepy or cute. My question is, what real-world band do you think Pyrosis sounds most like?
Ooh, that's a fun one. I like that.
Yeah. That's a question for Noah, really.
Yeah.
Anything off the top of the dome? I don't like influencing answers, but
I mean,
anything immediately come to mind?
Off the top of my head, I kind of just think like it almost gives me like power metal vibes, you know, or like Twisted Sister maybe, or like.
Oh, I like Twisted Sister. Yeah, I'm trying to think of, because it needs to be. There's that Venn diagram of Isabel's a fan, Petrichor's a fan, but also
douchey
Batwing agent. What's his
douchey
face?
McDouche face. Yeah.
So Twisted Sister I can buy with that, because Dee Snider has aged poorly. But my first thought was like The Used or some.
Oh, I could see
band
that. Yeah, no. You're just saying that because The Used's logo is a heart.
Look, they've successfully brainwashed me. Anytime I see a heart now. I just saw The Used play with fucking Coheed and Cambria not that long ago, and it was a great show. And they did have a big light up heart on the stage.
I feel like
really fun.
The other thing it could go is like they could very much be a punk band. Like I feel like Isabel would be very into a punk band.
Yeah. It's their Sex Pistols of God Save
or not Sex Pistols
King
though.
Robot.
It's more like the Clash. Like the Clash are actually like better. I actually did think of a question true to form. You asked about what the band sounds like, and we talked a lot about the Middle East analogies here. So my question of the week is, how do we create a lasting peace in the Middle East?
There we go. And what band do you think is doing that the best?
That's a vintage Noah question.
There we go.
Yeah, I would love to hear what you guys think Pyrosis. And also if any of you have ideas of names of Pyrosis's best albums, I would love to hear some of those.
Albums or songs?
Yeah.
Here, give me track 1, side 1.
Yeah. On their best-selling album.
Yeah.
And hey, it's great to be back. Hey, if you wanna hear more of us, I just burped. But if you want to hear more of us,
I don't want to hear that much more of you.
If you want to hear more of us, you should check out Amusement Sparks.
Yes. So this is a podcast that I've been on, I think 3 times before or something crazy. And Andrew's a really cool guy. He's kind of just like the Ted Lasso of us. We're the Lead Tassos.
We're the Lead Tassos.
He's the Ted Lasso.
You're Jamie Tart, and I'm Roy Kent.
I'll go with that. But the nicest fucking dude. But he has this amazing podcast, which is essentially it's a fun creative exercise of what if there was an amusement park based on a specific property of the guests choosing. So I've been on there and I did a lot of video game stuff. I did BioShock. If there was a BioShock amusement park, I did Uncharted. I did Portal. And it's essentially just we figure out what some of the main attractions, how the rides will go, what the certain vibe of it is, what the layout is, even restaurants and merch and stuff like that.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so Noah and I both came on and we figured out a Saga theme park, what that's going to look like. We figured out possibly the greatest money-making scheme in history, which is a contractual obligation of filling out all of your secrets.
Yep.
On a piece of paper before you come in for lying cat purposes. And it was a lot of fun. So yeah, check out Amusement Sparks. I'll throw some links wherever I can, and we've retweeted it quite a bit on the page. But yeah, check all that out. That was super fun. I'm also gonna say check out Noah's recent Led Zeppelin month videos. I think those were peak.
They're all right. They're all right.
Or peak. Don't let the man bring you down.
Yeah.
Specifically, don't let the men bring you down. No.
Well, yeah.
Here's the thing: the listeners of this podcast they are the target demographic for these videos. I think, in terms of people that'll actually appreciate them.
I think you guys will love them. That's true.
Yeah. So go check those out. Show those some love. And it's doing great so far. No dislikes. I've noticed, which is really, I've never achieved that. That's fantastic. But yeah, it is walked such a good line of just really appreciating one of the biggest bands of all time and coming to terms with a lot of the issues of, liking any old media really, but specifically Led Zeppelin.
Well, thanks, John. That's really nice.
All right, now say something nice about me, Noah.
Check out all of the great videos that John has been releasing. John's studio looks nice. He sent me pictures of it. It looks nice. Check those out. Go to St. Louis.
Yeah.
Ask around until someone knows where John lives. There's only one John.
Finally,
there's only one John in St. Louis.
So go check out all those things. And yeah, we had fun.
Actually,
next week,
here's what I'll plug that's nice about you, John. Is
okay.
Because I don't actually think that we've plugged. Have we plugged this on the show? Producer Haley, aka John's wife, is doing a bunch of amazing lettering work on a bunch of really cool comics, right?
Yes. No, she just finished her run on her first Image book. Well, I was talking about we're now in the second golden Image age because MOM, Mother of Madness, written by Amelia Clark, just came out. Haley did the letters for that. And yeah, she's been working on a lot of great stuff, and she might just be working on something else pretty big and pretty awesome at the moment that you might see.
Wait, is she phonographics?
So we'll keep you up to date. Yes.
That's why you were able to rip into them.
Yeah. I like how it's become rip into phonographics. Why is phonographics just the fucking so underappreciated in our time?
But yeah, big ups to
go check those out.
Big ups to producer Haley for that.
Yeah. And I think that wraps it up. So I'm gonna say a big old thank you to Brian K. Vaughan, Fiona Staples, Phonographics, you deserved it. Image Comics, and everyone else necessary in creating the greatest dang comic to ever exist. I almost said comet. That's how.
The greatest comet. Fang.
Real good transition from the last issue into that sentence. Go check out hornswings.com. Lots of the same stuff on there. And remember to, if you don't remember, because it's been 8 months, leave your answers to the question of the week. It is the pinned comment on the YouTube version of the video, and it is also the pinned comment on our Twitter page, which is @hornsandwings. Go check it all out. Noah, as always.
I mean, we just gotta go for the good old-fashioned, one of the good old-fashioned good old ones.
The vanilla.
Am I shitting?
There it is. Bye.
Bye.
We did it.